So we're going to look at Morrisby Careers, which was formerly known as Fast Tomato. Morrisby Careers is Fast Tomato with a few extras, should we say, and a more modern interface. All our products now sit on the same platform, which makes it very easy to use them, particularly if you're buying maybe Morrisby Careers for use with younger students, and you're profiling with end of year 10, beginning of year 11, and then maybe you're using our tracker, which allows you to publish your careers plan within school. So it is good that they all sit on the same platform. So without further delay, let's have a look at what Morrisby Careers has to offer. Okay, so basically it's a tool to help students discover and research various aspects of the world of work and pathways into it. It replaces Fast Tomato, as we've said already. It aids self-awareness because the suggestions that it generates are actually thrown out by the information that students input into psychometric-based questionnaires. So you don't have to have any ideas about what you might want to do. It will generate appropriate career suggestions in line with your own aspirations and views. So we've said it personally, tailors those suggestions to whatever answers you've put into the questionnaire. I won't read all this. We've done an improved report, which is again something different from the initial. There's added bits of support materials and information, which we'll have a look at. Parent and guardian access. That is within the power of the student, so the student can actually choose to share their assessment data and the results of this with parents or guardians. They can share it with up to 5 other individuals. They might have parents who are separated and living in different places. They might have guardians. They might want to share it with a tutor at school, but it's up to them. So they have to invite you to share that data. And there's a new resources area, some action planning tools, and a locker where all the student information is in one place. So, in order to get going with Morrisby Careers, formerly Fast Tomato, it's a very simple process. All we need from you are your school contacts, the exam types that you're following, because obviously we work with a lot of schools across the UK and internationally. So whichever exam types you're doing, we need to know about that. And then basically you can select from drop downs appropriate qualifications that you're going to follow, and that will update the career suggestions, if that makes sense. We need your accounts department contacts for invoicing purposes and the DSL contacts, and that's due to a safeguarding and data protection point of view. So what do we provide you with? Basically, it's very simple, a registration code. So there's a code which is attached to the assessment that you have decided to go with, whether it's the aspirations questionnaire within Morrisby Careers or whether it's the full profiling suite of assessments, which include aptitude or ability tests, non-verbal reasoning, verbal reasoning, quantitative reasoning or numerical reasoning, spatial reasoning, mechanical reasoning. So they're all other elements within the full profile. So we give you a code for whichever system you're intending on running, or assessment, for want of a better word. We also provide you with a manager login so that you can go into your student dashboard. You can look which students have completed it, who hasn't, who's added some goals, who's started to do a personal statement. You can see all this sort of information. We give you an admin guide because it's based on psychometric assessments. We like to ensure that it is administered consistently so that it's an accurate, robust assessment that underpins the careers data that it generates. Lots of brochures we can let you have, PowerPoints for presentations, whether they're for parents' evening to show parents what the students are doing. Some schools use the Morrisby careers lower down the school, and we'll talk a bit more about that. And allow students the chance to upgrade to the full profile, which is designed for use at the end of year 10, beginning of year 11. But there's an extra cost for that, but it stays with that student then for life. So if they then embark upon a career which they decide isn't for them, they can go back in and they can use the tool to look at other career pathways that would be suitable for their abilities, aspirations, priorities, and so on and so forth. Template letters, videos, there's lots of information we can let you have. And the next steps is just deciding on which products you want from Morrisby. So it might be that you just want the careers license, and we can talk about pricing for that. Or you might want to use the full profile with year 10, year 11, as we discussed. And actually, if you use the profile in year 10 and year 11 and you profile 90% of your cohort, we actually give you a license to use the Morrisby careers with the rest of the school free of charge. So you could actually incorporate Morrisby careers into your careers lessons or PSHE or however you follow it. Again, lots of information that we can give you to communicate with parents. If you wanted to do it on an opt-in basis for the full profile at year 11, year 12, we can even create a link that allows parents to just pay the £25 per head to upgrade from the basic license that the school has provided. We can also provide training if needed for colleagues. In better times, we will come into school. At the moment, it's via Zoom, but there are also lots of free webinars that you can sign up to on our website underneath training, which is at the bottom of the homepage. Okay, so the assessments within Morrisby Careers, formerly Fast Tomato, we've now got 3 assessments. So we've got the aspirations, or the pre-aptitudes as we used to call it, and that generates this questionnaire that takes about 20 minutes, and it looks at the student's interest in working with people, information, or things. It also homes in on special interests. So if they have an interest in sport or music, it looks at, sorry, I'm a bit happy there. It looks at the different world of work, and it generates this additional pie chart. So based on whether they've said they want to work with people, information, or things, they can then drill down into each of those sectors. It looks at work style as well, and we'll look at some of the reports and diagrams it throws out that look at the type of organisation students would be suited to working in, and indeed the kind of role that they would really sort of blossom within or flourish. It looks at whether they'd like to work outside, inside, how important the work environment is. So this is one of the reports that it throws out, looking at the type of organisation and the role that a person's suited to. And this is quite common, that actually when they first take this, if they use it in year 7 or year 8, that their little person in the middle that shows where their answers have fallen sits in the middle of those quadrants, and they can retake it at various points, maybe on an annual basis, as they gain maturity, as their aspirations change, as they maybe experience the world of work. They might have a Saturday job, they might have a paper round, and that begins to alter their opinions on the kind of work that they would like to do. And it's quite common then that this little person, when they retake this questionnaire, gravitates towards one of these 4 quadrants. And we've got some explanation about what those 4 quadrants actually mean. So how much of an entrepreneur are they? Or do they want to be within a cosseted environment of a large company and they want that security? Do they like to work independently for the team? And this is another report now. So this puts all that information onto one sheet. So there's 3 sections to the About Me section when they've done the test. So this is looking at what we talked about, the 3 areas, how much they want to work with people, information and things, specialist interests, the world of work chart that I showed you, the pie chart before, and the option to retake the questionnaire as they progress through school. Once they've done that and they go into My Choices, they will see that the system has actually thrown out the 12 best matches for them from a career perspective. Now, if they actually go onto the little tiles, they can click on the icon in the left-hand corner of the tiles, and it will flip that tile over and it will give them some information about that career, maybe about subjects they need to take and that kind of thing. If they click on the name, like auctioneer and valuer, it will flip it over and you will see a whole host of information about the career, what salary they might expect to earn, what hours they will be working, different routes into that career. And you'll see just above the tiles that we've got some boxes where it allows them to put in their expected outcomes in their exams and tune the suggestions. They might look at one and think, well, I don't actually want to be a TV and film director, so they can click on the little bin and it will actually discard that as a suggestion. They can favourite things by clicking on the little heart, and if they discard one, it will automatically put the next best suited career for them into the grid. There'll always be 12 there.
Barbara, just a few more minutes left now, is that okay?
Yeah.
Sorry,
I haven't had very long, have I really, because of the...
We will send out the video and things afterwards, so
okay. All right.
Get through in the next few minutes.
The progress section, there's the option to put in notes from face-to-face interviews, the option to create a personal statement. You can download reports in that section. The additional assessments that we talked about for Fast Tomato, there's a priorities questionnaire, which looks at, as you would expect, what's most important to them in a job. Is it job security? Is it how much they're appreciated by others? And you can see all these areas that it looks at. Do they work to live or live to work? So it asks questions like, would they be opposed to working at weekends? Would they be prepared to travel away from home for the right role? Then there's the study interest questionnaire, which is really aimed at looking at subjects that they might be interested in following. So obviously, if they say they don't want to do biology, but they're hoping to be a vet, it's not going to throw out a veterinary surgeon as one of the options. There's also an extensive course and apprenticeship search, so they can actually put in the postcode and they can say, well, actually, university isn't for me. I want an apprenticeship and I want it within 20 miles of Bristol. And it will pull up apprenticeships. There's links to the main job sites, Indeed, Reed, all those sorts of things. And this is just showing one of the tiles flipped over with all the kind of information that you've got on the different careers. And I was going to go into the system, how to log on and just look at the manager side of things and how the information is displayed, but I guess we haven't got time for that. How are we doing for time, Zahira?
You can have another couple of minutes.
Okay, so basically, I think we've said it takes 15 to 20 minutes to do the careers questionnaire, the main one, the aspirations. I think I've talked about some of this already. It's untimed, but we encourage them to put the first thing that comes into the head and not to overthink it too much. And as I've said, they can retake them in the future. From a manager point of view, this is what the manager login looks like. So down the left-hand side, you can see you can click on the students, you can look at their assessment data. If you're using the profile, there's information about the profile and the subtests within there. The tracker is the system through which you can publish your careers plan. Hire is an improved version of what we've got for destinations post 18 at the moment, which we've done to compete with Unifrog. So it is all there in the one place. This just shows how you can alter the settings for your organisation. So you can switch on the aspirations, or if you wanted to use it in year 7, you might say, well, I just want them to have a play with the system and explore different careers, but I don't actually want them to take any tests. So you can switch that on. You can import a school logo so that all your documentation that you print off, all your reports, your careers plan, they're all nice and glossy and specific to your school. You can add customised groups. You can have tutor groups and look at the information that those students have put in. You can add different staff users and assign a different level of permissions to them. You can tweak the subjects that they can select that they're going to take and what they think their outcomes are going to be. You can rename them, you know, so that actually it's not throwing out subjects for them to follow that you might not offer in your school. This is what the assessment dashboard looks like. So once they've finished the assessment, you can go in, and if you hover over that green tick on the live site, it will say that they've completed it. The green little bod will say not available because the verbal reasoning, numerical reasoning, abstract reasoning all sit with the profile, which is the upgraded version that you might use with year 10 or year 11. You can go into an individual pupils dashboard and see all their information sitting there. You know, add in interview notes. There's a learner passport coming, which will be a nice document that they can print off, and it shows everything that they've done. It will incorporate all the work experience, their assessment data, and so on and so forth. Everything that they've done to investigate the world of work, the qualifications, and the only thing we haven't really talked about is the pricing. So as you can see, Morrisby Careers, formerly Fast Tomato, we've got an annual subscription. There are lower prices for very small schools. The profile is £25 per candidate. You could offer that on an opt-in basis. You could even ask them if they wanted to pay for that themselves. The tracker, which allows you to publish your careers plan in school, is £495, and the higher will be £995. That's not being published till the spring. And other than that, that's my contact details. Any questions, if you can let Sahira have those. If anybody would like an online demo, that's something that we can provide for you if you email support@morrisby.com. We're doing lots of online demos via Zoom at the moment because obviously we're not allowed to visit schools. I hope that's giving you sufficient information in this whistle-stop tour.
That was fantastic. Thank you, Barbara, given the cut time that you have. If we stop there, is that okay? We don't have any questions in the chat.
Okay.
So thank you. You want to stop sharing your screen?
All right. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Barbara. So